I'm going to share with you exactly what Graham Jarvis's body goes through when he's out riding and doing a lot of his technical stuff. And then more importantly, give you some insight into how you can get your body into a similar shape without doing the tens and thousands of hours of riding that Graham's done, and without going riding 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week like Graham does as well. So we've got a video here from Moto Jokers with things that he's done over the years. So obviously got the volume on there, so hopefully you guys can hear the bike, because who doesn't like listening to a bike? If we have a look at this one, you'll notice, like, as he's getting up onto the wall, if we just go back a little bit, he uses his legs a lot to be able to compress the suspension and actually get up onto the wall to preload the bike. So if I just slow that down for you guys, let's have a look. Let's say we go half. When he goes up here, he's in his normal standing position, which probably like isn't taxing his body too much, right? But then as he gets up to the wall and he gets closer and closer and closer, watch his legs, legs, bang, there. See how powerful that squat is? So think about the suspension in the bike. Like the springs and forks are like pretty stiff when you think about it, right? If you're just trying to compress them using your body. So he's really using as much of his strength as he possibly can, pushing his body into the floor to be able to get that suspension to be able to compress. So he's going, he goes up, and he bang, right? He's like really squatting down as hard as he possibly can. So he's using a lot of leg strength. So the stronger you can get your legs, the easier it is to be able to preload the bike. And the better you can preload the bike to get through certain sections like this. The problem is if you don't have the strength in your legs, you're not going to be able to preload the bike like that all the way through a ride or all the way through the race. You're probably only going to be able to do it when you're fresh. Which is when you see a lot of guys start to lose their technique, is when they get tired. Obviously for Graham, he just does a shit ton of riding, so he's building a lot of leg strength and strength in general and fitness just through being on the bike a lot. The other thing there that he does as well, we hop back here, so he hops up. Obviously he's using his legs a fair bit there as he gets up onto the top of the ledge. Let's go back a little bit more. There we go. Let's try and see. So as he gets up, so he preloads, he uses his legs there, but then he's also using his legs there again. So notice, if he does a second dip with his legs. So watch his legs. He does one, and then he goes two, and then he does that second one. So it's like being in the gym and like doing 2 really hard squats with like heavy weight. It's like bam, bam, right on top of each other with no rest, no break in between. And so obviously that's the importance of getting your legs strong. If you aren't doing as much riding, then that's your opportunity in the gym and during the week to start working on building those muscle groups that you're using on the bike. When he's hopping up along the top there, I don't know if he preloads again as he gets off the end. Kind of, maybe. Probably moves his body weight. It's probably a fair bit of core strength there, I'd say, to be able to go from being off the back of the bike like that. Watch his positioning. He goes from being off the back of the bike. So imagine you're hanging off the back of the bike, right? That takes a lot of strength in itself. You've got your whole body working from head to toe to hold you in that position. Because imagine, like, if he didn't have the strength, right, and let's say he was really, really weak and he just relaxed everything and let go, what would happen is he'd just fall straight off the back of the bike. And that's what happens for some guys. Like, maybe you've done it yourself. It's like you get really, really tired and fatigued and you know where you're supposed to be, know what positions you're supposed to be getting into on the bike, but your body's just not letting you anymore. So notice what he does with his body weight as he gets off the edge there. Because obviously, if he just keeps going and keeping his weight off the back of the bike as he goes off the ledge, then he's going to loop out. So he goes forward, see? He moves his body forwards over the top of the bike. And so again, that takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of core strength, but we're not talking sit-up strength. We're not talking like, oh, he goes to the gym and, bangs out 200 sit-ups every day to be able to do that. Because he's using his whole body. He's rotating everything from head to toe. He's moving over the top of the bike to get the bike into the position that he wants. And obviously he's a very skilled rider and his technique is absolutely awesome. So he knows what positions he needs to get into and he's got the fitness and more so the strength there to be able to do that. Let's hop over to this next bit. So he's just doing some donuts here. Again, this requires like a fair bit of strength because he's holding himself in that position. The bike is wanting to get rid of him and send him off the bike and he's locking himself in over the front of the bike so that he's got no traction in the rear so that he can do his donuts that he's doing. Again, that takes a lot of strength. So the stronger your body is, the easier it is for you to hold the positions when you're out doing enduro riding. And for a lot of riders, yes, the position and the technique needs work. I don't know if that's a little bit, put it down a little bit. Yes, the technique needs work and needs to be improved. Everyone can always improve their technique. But the problem is the breakdown in technique. Is if you're getting fatigued and you're losing that strength, you know what positions you should be getting into. You know how to do the certain sections, but your body's not letting you get into those positions. So you start either not doing those sections or taking a lot more rest than you need to. Again, off the back, let's speed this up a little bit and we'll go back to normal. Again, he's off the back there. So again, it's like a lot of strength, right? And more so here through his upper body. So if you look through his upper body there, like that's probably the main bit that's actually holding him up in position. You notice his back's relatively straight, like he's got really good posture on the bike. The thing that's allowing him to be able to do that, he's got his elbows up. The thing that's allowing him to be able to do that is he's got the strength in his upper body to hold that posture. He's sitting up like nice and straight, right? So here in my chair, like he's up nice and tall, elbows are up, or he's in his right position there for doing his wheelie. He's not just like rounded over like this with his elbows like all caved in because he can't hold himself up. It takes a lot of upper body strength and a lot of upper back strength to be able to do that. So again, for him, like if you're doing this stuff 3, 4, 5 times a week and you've been doing it since you were knee-high to a grasshopper, you're going to build a lot of strength in the upper body and in those positions just through riding a lot. But if you're only going riding once a week, you're not going to be able to. And that's what the great thing, like obviously now in Australia here, you're coming towards the end, or we're at the end of the season, and then the season will kick off again at the start of next year, is this is the best time to build strength. Because strength takes a while to build. It's not one of those things you can just do for a few weeks and go, oh, I'm stronger. If you want to get yourself like twice as strong as you are now and really make the bike feel light and get into all those positions as easy as you can, then you need to be able to give yourself adequate amount of time. And usually it'll take about 6 months for the average person with not much of a strength background to be able to double their level of strength. So you get started now, it gives you a good head start for next year to be able to hit your positions more consistently by the time racing comes. Again, right, it's like all off the back of the bike. He's using his body a lot to move around. And it doesn't matter how good your technique is. Like, his technique's awesome. It would be like a 10 out of 10, right? Does an awesome job on the bike. But he's got the strength there. If he didn't have the strength and the fitness there to get into those positions, he wouldn't be able to do what he does. Because he just turned into a Gumby. Here's some hill climbs. So, same deal with the hill climbs. Like, obviously you've got to have your, let's go back there and have a look for a bit. The footage isn't the best footage, but like you can see there, obviously when you're going up a hill and you're doing a hill climb, your body, gravity wants to pull you off the back, right? So you're fighting against gravity. Your body, you're up on a hill like this, the bike's going up like that, you've got the power of the bike, which is also coming from the back wheel, probably making it worse, making the front wheel even lighter. And so all your weight is falling backwards. You're fighting against that and leaning forwards, all the way forwards, trying to stay in position so you can get more weight over the front of the bike so that the bike can go up the hill and you don't loop out. It takes so much effort and so much energy to be able to do that. And again, it comes back to getting your body strong to be able to hold the position. A lot of the time, learning the position is the easy part. You've then got to build the strength and fitness to be able to hold those positions for a 3-hour enduro or however long you're racing for. Again, with this one, see his body turns. We'll watch the full thing first, and then we'll speed it up a bit. But you'll see there, he uses his body a lot to rotate the bike. So let's have a look here. Watch the end of this bit again. Watch what happens here. So he goes up, watch his body. Watch his body. His body's off the side of the bike. He's not straight on the bike. He's using his body weight and his weight, and he's rotating himself as much as he can to be able to get that bike to turn. So yes, there's a lot of technique involved and like bike craft and wizardry that you need to rabbit holes that you need to go down to do that in the first place. But you need a lot of strength there to be able to muscle the bike around. So remember, he's on a Husky. I'm assuming it's probably a 300, right? They probably weigh 100 kilos. You've got your body weight on top of that. So if you weigh 100, if the bike weighs 100 and then you weigh, say, 90, that's 190 kilos that you've got to wrestle around, especially for hard enduro. So that's a fair bit of weight. There's no amount of cycling or like push-ups you're going to bang out at home that are going to get you strong enough to wrestle around 190 kilos. You either need to be riding every day or doing some weight training and building some strength in your body. We'll speed things up a little bit. Oh, we've already got it on normal. Must have been just slow-mo from the video. I thought he was going to knock that kid over there for a minute. I'm actually glad that kid moved over, because I thought he was going to get hit. It's slippery. I don't know if he meant to do that or he got pretty close. Anyway, either way. So more technical stuff here. Looks like a pretty simple section for him, which is not really that hard, and then gets a bit harder here. There, obviously, he's using his legs a little bit more, because anytime that the terrain that you're going up gets steeper and steeper, you're fighting against gravity more and more, because you're trying to lean, the bike's trying to kick you off further, and you're trying to stay on further, like you're trying to get over the front more. Because you're trying to get over the front more, you're fighting against gravity, even more than what you normally would be. And that's what makes it so hard. Another thing to mention with this, I'll just pause it there, is with these different sections, you'll notice, like, obviously this is a compilation with all just the technical stuff. But usually, like for Enduro, you have parts of the track that require more effort than other parts of the track. So like this hill climb here, obviously like takes a fair bit of effort to do a hill climb. But then you might get to the top and then you have a bit of a rest, or if you're racing, you've got like a bit of single trail before you get to the next section. So you're going very hard for short periods of time, you get a bit of rest, and then you're going hard again. You've got to make sure your gym work reflects that. So it's not just about going to the gym and, trying to run 5Ks or trying to get on the rowing machine for hours or trying to cycle for hours or swim for hours. Yeah, that's part of it. Part of it is you need the fitness to be able to race for 3 hours. The other part is you need your body really, really good at going very hard for short periods of time, resting, and then going hard again. Exactly like we just saw on those hill climbs. So if we go back to, like here, right? He's doing this hill climb. So out the bottom there, this is obviously no race, but that takes a lot of effort. He's like, lot of effort. He's using a reasonable amount of energy to get to the top. Obviously, it makes it look ridiculously easy. But then once you get to the top, and then if you're racing and you're going to the next section, then you get a bit of a rest. So you need to train your body in the gym and during the week to be good at that if you're not riding 4 or 5 times a week. Got some more wheelies there that I think we saw before. Again, like a lot of strength there to be able to hold those positions. It's like strength. We'll skip up because I think he does this a fair bit. It's pretty cool. There you go again. So again, he's like preloading the bike there. So if you have a look, if you watch, I'll slow this down so you guys can see it. Let's go half speed. Watch what he does with his legs. There. So he's got his legs extended. So first of all, he's off the back of the bike and he's pushed his legs up. So he's already done like a really heavy squat to be able to get away from the bike. But then he preloads the bike, okay? Then he pushes his legs down to be able to help compress the forks. And then preloads, and then that helps him to be able to get over that section. Again, like obviously there's a lot of technique involved and timing involved, but to have the technique and timing consistent all the way through the race, to be able to do that lap after lap after lap, section after section after section, you've got to have the strength there. Otherwise, you're just going to run out of juice. Again, preloading. See, watch his legs, and then his body. He's rotating his body again. He's using his strength to be able to wrestle the bike around and be able to move it. And then be able to get it back down where he wants it. Let's have a look there. I think that looks like a cameraman. I was wondering what that guy was doing, chasing after him. Cool. So I don't think that's anything different to what we've really spoken about so far with doing the wheelies. Probably the same thing there. Like obviously when he's going up on the front wheel, the bike's wanting to send you over the front. That's what gravity wants to do. He's fighting against gravity. So he's got a lot of load here in his legs. He's got it in his legs, in his hamstrings, in his glutes. His core's working overtime. His upper back's working. His shoulders are working. Everything's working from head to toe really, really hard to keep him in that position. And so that's also why you can't go and train in isolation at the gym. You can't go to the gym and just train your biceps and then just do leg extensions and then do some calf raises. Because as you can see here, his whole body is working from head to toe. His biceps aren't just working. His core isn't just working. His legs aren't just working. Everything is working. If his legs don't work, the whole thing smashes. If his shoulders don't work, the whole thing smashes. If his core doesn't work, the whole thing just comes crashing down and collapses. Everything has to be working. So when you go to the gym, you've got to train your body as a unit using exercises that get all the muscle groups working together, not training like a bodybuilder and training each muscle group separately. What's this? Another display. Looks like a Husky display or Husky exhibition or something. But again, more strength. And again, I've talked about it before, but the strength takes a lot of time to build. It's not something that's a quick fix. Like cardio and conditioning, like breathing, you can see really good improvements with that within about 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. You're like, shit, like I'm getting really fit. Strength's not like that. Strength takes time, but you've got to make sure you've got the right exercises and you're doing it consistently each week. And during the off season's the easiest time to do that, isn't it? Because that's when you've got the least amount of racing, least amount of travel, least amount of bike prep. So you can get in the gym, you can train, you can be consistent, you can recover. You're not worrying about being sore. So he dropped it there. I thought he was going to go into that car. That looks like the same video from the one we watched before with that little kid. Lucky he didn't get that car. Hill climb, that one looked pretty simple, so probably didn't use too much effort at all. This one again, so again, like he's using his legs. Like have a look at his legs through that section. I'll take you through that bit just again. Let's just pause it and I'll do it in slow-mo. Let's go half. Watch his legs again, right? It's legs, legs, legs. His legs are like taking an absolute pounding. Watch his legs. Legs, go in, legs, and then legs again, legs, right? And so he's using his legs a lot, but he's also trying to hold himself over the front of the bike. And that's why those sections are really hard, because he's not just doing a hill climb, he's trying to get the front end up over different sections as well as doing a hill climb at the same time. So his legs are taking and his body's taking a double pounding. We don't want subtitles. We'll go back to normal speed. So again, some more wheelies. Same with this stuff as we spoke about before. It takes a lot of strength to hold yourself in those positions. A part of the game is you've got to know what positions to get into. But then you've also got to be able to have the strength and the fitness and the endurance there to hold those positions. This looks like that ledge we saw at the start where he went off the opposite way. Again, legs, 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 legs. I don't know if he gets off the other side. Watch his legs again. Legs, legs, legs. See me compressing the suspension? Like compressing that suspension is like doing a heavy squat at the gym. He's like putting everything he can into the suspension. And the problem I see for a lot of riders is because they lose their strength as they go through the race and they lose their endurance, they can't compress the suspension as much. And because they can't compress it as much, it makes it 10 times harder for them to get through sections that should be pretty easy or much easier for them. That's a pretty gnarly hill climb. The bikes sound good when you've got no other bikes and you can just hear that two-stroke. So again, see his body weight, shifts off the side, shifts off the side, shifts off the side. Look how much shifting he does. Like he's using all of his strength to be able to make that happen. Demands a lot of your body. That's why hard enduro is so hard. And the thing is, I think the thing that makes hard enduro harder than, say, like cross-country enduro or motocross is you've got no airflow. It's like your goggles are fogging up and you're getting hot and sweaty because you've got no fresh air and you're working your ass off at the same time. Same in the front, that was pretty cool. The other thing to mention as well, notice he's got his camelback on. He doesn't have it on for all the stuff because I think like a lot of this stuff is like exhibition or must be like his training school or camps. But the other thing that you can do that we do with our guys in the Faster Laps program is in their camelback, we'll get them to fill up their camelback with a bit of water, but mostly Powerade or Gatorade or some sort of sports drink. And what that does is we can get carbohydrates into their body while they're riding without them having to stop or without them having to force feed food. We work on about 30 to 50 grams of carbs, which is about a bottle of Powerade or a bit more per hour of riding, the hard enduro. And what that'll make sure is that sometimes strength is the problem, but you've got to have the fuel there in your body. It's like your bike. Like you can have the best bike out there, but if you've got no fuel in it, like even Graham's bike, if you grabbed his bike and took all the fuel out of it, it's going to be pretty useless. He's not going to be able to do all this stuff because it's not going to go. And that's the same for your body. So having the liquid in your pack allows you to keep riding. You don't have to stop and have food, but also a lot of riders struggle to actually eat food while they're riding and stomach it and get it in. So that's an easy way to make it happen. More wheelies. Loves his wheelies and he's really good at them. Wheelie, wheelie, wheelie. He's really good at changing position. Like he's very strong with changing his positions when he goes from doing one section to the other. Which again comes down to his strength. So see again, using his legs, 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 legs. Look at his legs. His legs are working overtime. Look at him. He's standing up there, right? So much legs. Let's go back and have a look again. It's already in slow-mo for us. Did I go back too far? Oh, we can listen to the 300 a little bit more. There we go. Look at his legs. Legs, 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 legs. Whole time he's using legs, 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 legs. Like ridiculous strength to be able to hold those positions, and obviously bike control as well. And it's a mixture of both. Pretty cool. You get out the gate like that. And I think he had to turn the handlebars because I think if the handlebars were straight, he wouldn't have made it out. So it's pretty cool. This one's going backwards. Interesting. Cool. So nutrition's definitely an important part for all of this. Like, we're not watching a race here, obviously, but when you're racing for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and doing like some of the bigger events as well, nutrition strategy is really important. Excuse me, because you can do all the strength work and all the fitness work. All of that stuff literally means nothing if you don't have the right fuel in your system, because you'll just run out of energy after the first hour. So your body runs on carbs. Carbs are the primary fuel source that Graham's using and that riders are using while they're out riding and racing. So you can get them in through, like we talked through, with a sports drink and your Camelback. Or the other thing you can use is carb gels. Biggest problem I find is people don't top up their carbs early enough. I think that's it there. I'll watch through some of this while I bang on about the nutrition. The biggest problem I find is riders don't top up their carbohydrates early enough. They do it when they feel like, oh, I don't feel well now, I feel like I'm lacking energy. But with carbs, you've got to top up your carbs early. You want to have your tank full the whole time. You don't want to let it get to empty and then be trying to refill it, because you just won't be able to catch up. So 30 to 50 grams of carbs every hour. Have a look at the nutrition pack of your carb gel or of your Powerade and see what you need to get in. So if you're doing a 3-hour enduro and you're putting Powerades in your Camelback, then you need to be going through 3 or 4 bottles of Powerade or Gatorade or sports drink just for a race. Which might sound like a fair bit, but your body's chewing through it. Like, look at all the work Graham's doing. Look at what his body's going through, and he's probably got the most efficient technique out of anyone. Chances are your technique isn't as good as his, which means you're probably using more energy than what he is. Your body's doing a lot more work than what Graham's going through. So you're definitely going to need those carbs in your system. Again, off-season is the best time to be able to get started with this stuff and actually do it, because you don't have all the races to get to. You've got the free time, or not free time, but more time than racing season to be able to actually build the strength and dial in your nutrition. We'll wrap it up there. If you would like some help getting ready for racing season and you want to start building the strength and dialing in your nutrition, you can apply for our Faster Laps program. I'll put the link below either in the comments or in the description if you'd like some help. Otherwise, hopefully you enjoy this video.